Today on Investigate TV Plus, a secondhand solution.
Thrifting is a movement. It's exhilarating, it's exciting, it's self-expression.
While thrift stores are nothing new, it appears more shoppers are buying into the concept.
I'm seeing people becoming way more aware of it.
We take an in-depth look at a more sustainable way to shop and show how reshaping the way we think about retail can help the environment.
Then a family trying to gain temporary custody of a little boy received news they did not expect.
This is what our test is saying, so that's what it is.
3 generations fail a state-required drug test, but they all insist they don't use.
I was like, no, that can't be. I said, I don't do meth.
We investigate what some believe is a flawed system and expose a drug screen with a history of concerns, complaints, and false positive results.
Then, a former professor proves why music is in the ear of the beholder.
So can you make pretty much music or sounds out of anything?
Yeah, I think so. I didn't get to play the bathroom sink for you downstairs.
In-depth stories that inform and inspire. You're watching Investigate TV Plus.
From fast fashion to sustainable style and brand new to pre-owned, some retail industry experts say they're seeing a major shift in American shopping habits. I'm Tisha Powell.
And I'm Lee Zurich. In 2024, more than half of consumers bought secondhand clothing. And by 2029, the U.S. secondhand apparel market is expected to hit $74 billion in sales.
Reporter Heather Graff shows us what's driving this trend and the benefits that go beyond your wallet.
Can't find a size on this one.
For Stephanie Hernandez, it's the thrill of the hunt inside a thrift store.
One of the things thrifters always do is they push the hangers out of the way so you can really see what you're doing.
Assessing every aisle.
Let's see.
And rummaging through each rack in search of the right style and size.
It's almost like you get a shot of adrenaline because you're like, this is perfect. I can't believe I found it.
But on this day,
they're kind of fun.
She is not shopping for herself.
She wants pants, skirts, cardigans.
Stephanie is what's known as a secondhand stylist in Washington, D.C., where clients pay her to help them curate a one-of-a-kind, sustainable wardrobe.
They want to be more sustainable and they are kind of thinking about it more, but they don't really have the time to go out to a thrift store and hunt for those amazing pieces.
And you're pretty passionate about sustainability. Why is that?
I just feel like there's already so much out there in the world, and buying new just creates more and more waste.
In fact, the Council for Textile Recycling estimates the average American throws away more than 70 pounds of clothing and other textiles each year, while globally, according to the United Nations Environment Program, the equivalent of one garbage truck of textiles is landfilled or burned every single second.
I see videos of clothes washing up on beaches in countries across the ocean, and it breaks my heart. That's kind of why I started the business, to educate people about that and show them that there are other options.
And right now, she says, both her business and the secondhand industry as a whole,
let's go to pants,
seem to be booming.
I've worked with people anywhere from in their 20s to in their 60s. It's actually very exciting.
At the Goodwill store where Stephanie is currently browsing, the staff has noticed it too, sharing this statistic as proof of impact. In 2024, Goodwill of the Greater Washington area kept more than 48 million pounds of material out of local landfills.
That is no small number. And shopping secondhand is not a fad. It is trendy, but I don't see it being a trend. I see it being a movement.
A movement that's also made its way to this DC vintage shop, where you'll find a treasure trove of authentic pieces that are all at least 20 years old.
Secondhand fashion has never been more popular. Oh my God, for sure. I think people are more aware.
This one.
Yeah.
Store owners Rajni Rao and Libby Rasmussen largely credit Gen Z for its increased interest in environmentally friendly fashion, plus a love of eclectic finds.
A 90s Dickies jacket.
That together are breaking the stigma around buying used clothing. This 2025 resale report found the U.S. secondhand apparel market is growing on average about 9% each year.
There was a rebranding because it's not that secondhand shopping is new. Like I talk to my mother-in-law about this all the time, and she's like, listen, like I did it, but I was ashamed. The fact that it has been so de-shamed is so liberating.
We know it's a growing industry.
Adele Meyer is with the National Association of Resale and Thrift Shops, known as NARTS, that closely monitors shopping habits on behalf of its member stores across the country. And she believes another factor driving the popularity of pre-owned is economic uncertainty. Because as budget-conscious consumers look to stretch their dollars, she says thrifted clothing often comes at a lower price than brand new retail.
People have a lot of pulls on their money, so when they can find a way of saving on consumer goods, and resale is certainly a way, they take advantage of it.
Some experts suggest shopping secondhand is also a way to avoid tariffs that could be imposed on imported clothing.
That is true. Absolutely true.
At Howard University's College of Fine Arts, Professor Mickey Taylor teaches a course on sustainable fashion.
Head to toe right now, I have on everything I have on is from the thrift store.
From thrifting to upcycling, in which older garments are repurposed into new pieces.
This was originally a pair of jeans, and I made it into a skirt.
Taylor practices what she preaches, but in educating students about why it matters, she also has the class examine their own closets, choices, and patterns of consumption.
I let them know all the chemicals that are involved in just one item, one t-shirt, a pair of jeans. It is incredibly important to teach them that because our environment is definitely being affected.
The good news, from Taylor's perspective, is that shopping sustainably is getting more convenient, thanks to online resale platforms like ThredUp and Poshmark, plus the rise of rental options such as Nuuly and Rent the Runway, in which customers pay a monthly fee to borrow clothes rather than buy them.
So what is your advice to someone who, might be interested in starting to shop secondhand but doesn't know where to begin?
I would say just dive in. I mean, really just look at how much you have. What is it that you could remake or reinvent? Get like a solid staple piece and then build around it.
We literally go through everything in the closet.
It's why this secondhand stylist shows every new client how to shop their existing wardrobe first. Only then comes Stephanie's sustainable search here at the thrift store.
So nice.
Reshaping closet culture, one find at a time.
Oh, these could be a winner. Yes, best part of my job.
Sustainability concerns in fashion have also caught the attention of lawmakers here in Washington, and in 2024, that led to the formation of what's being called the Slow Fashion Caucus, led by Congresswoman Shelley Pingree of Maine.
Often people don't understand the role that fashion is playing today in our climate crisis. In fact, the fashion industry is responsible for more carbon emissions than all international flights and maritime shipping combined.
Pingree and others feel the issue of textile waste has gotten much worse since the rise of so-called fast fashion, which rapidly churns out cheap and trendy clothing. The goal of the Slow Fashion Caucus is to push forward policies aimed at reducing waste in the industry. In Washington, I'm Heather Graff.
Still to come, it's not a diagnosis, but it could tell you whether you're protected against a highly contagious illness. We explore what a simple blood test reveals about measles immunity and explain why doctors believe it's critical for some.
But first, a grandmother hoping to gain custody of her grandson fails a drug test.
I was like, no, that can't be. I said, I don't do meth.
And she's not the only member of her family who didn't pass. We investigate false positive results and uncover the screening process at the center of similar claims. An aunt and grandparents failing drug test, and they blame the state of Georgia's screening process.
The Georgia Division of Family and Children's Services, or DFACS, uses hair follicle testing to screen for illegal substances. However, our investigation found some state-contracted labs don't typically perform a specialized test, which distinguishes between legal versus illegal drugs. In one case, 3 generations tested positive for meth, but they insist they have proof they're drug-free.
Investigative reporter Sierra Cummings takes an in-depth look at their case and a solution that could eventually reunite this family.
So we enjoy this life out here. Nice, beautiful, and quiet.
Benjamin takes us around his Richmond Hill property, showing the crops, animals, historic acres where 3 family generations live. The day would be otherwise perfect, except
only one thing, we just miss our little great-grand. Miss him a whole lot.
his great-grandson Azariah hasn't been here since August, when Georgia Division of Family and Children's Services, or DFACS, removed the 2-year-old from the home.
Try not to think about him too much because it makes you sick. But I hope everything will be all right.
Things haven't been all right for some time. It all goes back to when DFACS first got involved in 2023. Azariah's mom admitted to drug addiction, and the Bryan County investigation moved slowly due to staffing shortages, the family recalls. But eventually, caseworkers moved forward with Azariah's placement options. Instead of a foster home, multiple immediate relatives on mom's side sought temporary custody. One of the requirements? A drug screen. Great-granddad Benjamin thought nothing of it until, he says, his drug screen came back positive. The 76-year-old has overcome many challenges, including near paralysis after a crash. But this hurdle, it feels unbelievable.
The way they're handling it, if they would handle it with some common sense.
A frustration with DFACS shared by the rest of the family.
Yeah, they need to do better. They got to do better.
Grandma Katina and Aunt Jayana were drug screened. Social workers told them both they too were positive for methamphetamine.
I was like, no, that can't be. I said, I don't do meth.
But it's kind of, well, this is what our test is saying, so that's what it is.
Alleged test results they don't even have copies of.
What happened when you asked for a copy of it?
I reached out to our caseworker and I asked her if she could provide copies of all of our hair follicle testing, and I never received a text message back.
On a Facebook group to help families dealing with DFACS cases, they came across posts revealing a history of concerns, complaints, and records of false positive hair follicle tests from Georgia drug labs. We found some labs contracted to do drug screens on behalf of DFACS typically don't perform an additional confirmation specialized drug test called D-isomer. The confirmation test distinguishes between legal drugs like medicine versus illicit drugs. The family began to get independent drug screens. Hair follicle tests they paid for out of pocket show they are negative for drugs. Despite the documents, Azariah is still not home with the only family he's ever known.
It's just really hard when we go to see him twice a week for 2 hours, and then it's time for us to leave, and he wants to run behind us, and he's crying because for his whole life, he's been with us.
What are your feelings toward DFACS?
They supposed to be for the kids, but they're not.
Back outside, they all take a walk together around the property the toddler loves so much, hoping for his return.
We just going through this little trial and tribulation, and I hope it'll come back to our favor. You know, because we missed the little guy.
The child welfare case focuses on Azariah and his mom. In the meantime, the little boy is staying with a relative on his dad's side of the family.
DFACS doesn't comment on cases citing privacy laws, but in a statement wrote, "We continue to research and review literature and processes in other states to further inform our internal processes."
Still ahead, immunity boost or bust? There's a test for that. We examine what a simple blood test reveals about measles antibody levels and who doctors say should get it.
Then later, a music menagerie. A piano, pots, pans, and even a rubber chicken.
I don't use too many chicken sounds in my music.
We play along with a former professor who finds musical inspiration in just about anything. Measles is more than a well-known rash. It can cause significant health complications, including pneumonia, brain swelling, and even death.
Measles spreads within a family and community quickly and lives on surfaces for up to 2 hours. Doctors say a vaccination given in 2 doses provides the best defense against the highly contagious infection, but an extremely small percentage of those who receive the full dose series could still catch the virus. If you're concerned about immunity, a simple blood test can tell you whether you should consider getting a booster.
Reporter Carrie Beal provides insight into measles antibody testing.
So these are called centrifuge. They are responsible for processing the blood.
Madison Gull is the clinical director at Any Lab Test Now in Greenville. Her team helps patients understand everything about their health, from genes to cholesterol levels to antibodies, also known as a titer test.
We offer over 8,000 different tests for the public to just walk in, have whatever they want to have done.
One test she says people have had a lot of interest in right now is the measles titer.
Which arm do you prefer?
I had 2 doses of the MMR vaccine as a child and wanted to know my current immunity, so I had it measured. The procedure takes about 10 minutes, and the results take about 3 days to come in. I brought my lab report to family doctor Nita Bajor. My measles antibody levels were at 300. The minimum for immunity is 16.
Do you think that's like really high?
There is no established really high. It means you have a good level, probably because you do have good health system, you do have good nutrition, you have, a good lifestyle, healthy lifestyle. So your body is mounting very good antibody response.
But is a test like this needed for someone like me? Dr. Bajor says it depends. A titer test measures immunoglobulin G antibodies, which indicates past exposure or vaccination to a virus like measles. She says sometimes the memory of the virus can still remain in the cells, but not show high levels of antibodies.
There can be false negatives. It can be low, and the person may still have a good antibody response. So it's not a 100% foolproof test.
But she says this is still our best test. So here is who she recommends it for. Those who don't know their immunity, those who think they have natural immunity, and vaccinated people in high-risk jobs such as educators and healthcare workers.
I think in the setting of an outbreak, it makes sense if a patient wants to be absolutely sure.
Up next, he has an ear for the unconventional.
This is one of the most melodious frying pans I've ever heard.
We introduce you to a man inspired to create extraordinary music from the ordinary.
When you were a kid, did you ever try to make music with pots and pans or maybe spoons? Well, one 81-year-old Vermont man still does.
He creates experimental music using a variety of instruments, along with some things you may find around the house. Reporter Joe Carroll takes us inside his multi-studio music haven.
Herb Leff strikes a chord in Burlington.
I tend to make music just about every night. It's a kinetic reflective sculpture.
The retired University of Vermont psychology professor has a creative side.
To me, making music is an endeavor. It's a learning process.
So this is quite a setup you have here.
This is my cave studio.
It's in his basement of his condo.
I play everything in this room. I don't play the washing machines.
A musical menagerie using everything from traditional instruments to pots and pans.
There. This is one of the most melodious frying pans I've ever heard.
There's even a rubber chicken.
I don't use too many chicken sounds in my music.
He shares the place with his wife, Ellen.
We go upstairs. I have to be very careful about it. She's very much devoted to having this room stay pretty much a living room.
But on the second floor...
Okay, all right, this is the Ethereum. Oh, this used to be called the Metal Percussion Paradise.
Why do you need more than one studio?
Look around.
The one-time bedroom never rests. How often do you record?
Every day, just about. Well, one studio or another.
He puts them on sites like Bandcamp, an online site where you can listen to his creations and buy them too.
Good, but I'm not after making money. What I'm after is creating things that people can enjoy. If I know that somebody else likes it and has listened to it, enjoyed it, that's the payment.
So can you make pretty much music or sounds out of anything?
Yeah, I think so. I didn't get to play the bathroom sink for you downstairs.
That's
love
later.
It. Yeah.
That's the second date.
Yes, another date, yeah.
The tour continues to the once master bedroom.
This studio is my Magnum studio.
The 81-year-old calls it his cockpit.
Now, I really just like playing the piano itself. Anybody can find anything they do as wonderful. It might be fixing their meal, or it might be talking to somebody, or writing a letter. It really is a great way to approach life, and it helps you stay in the present, which is all we ever have.
Freestyling music like Herb.
Everything in here has such a story.
Is one of a kind.
Interesting note, and this is not true, by the way, this is a joke, but they eat out every night because he's taken all the utensils and everything from the kitchen.
Yeah, I saw he used a little strainer there.
Exactly,
and
right?
Everything in the house is piled into these rooms.
These rooms. He makes good music, though.
And his
right?
wife doesn't complain.
And no, she doesn't. Yeah. Good for her.
Well, that's it for us on Investigate TV Plus. I'm T. Chappelle.
And I'm Lee Zurich. Thanks for watching.
On the next Investigate TV Plus, every year more than 500,000 children are sexually abused, and many of them suffer in silence.
You will destroy our family. You've got no proof that I'm doing this to you. So I stayed silent.
We hear from a sex abuse survivor fighting to empower children and take an in-depth look at an effort to pass laws mandating prevention in schools.